The reason why it's called Moving Parts Press, interestingly enough, is that one of the first things I ever printed in here, this is 4 years ago, over 4 years ago, was a poem by Ellen Bass called If You Want Me, that she agreed that I could print it because I really loved the poem. And when I got to the end of the run and had printed the poem itself, and I wanted to tag on something that would say who had printed it or note the event, that it was the first thing that I had ever printed in this shop. The shop didn't have a name. Of course, I wasn't going to be so audacious as to give myself a name when I'd never really, who was I? I was nobody. I didn't know what was going to come of all this. I was really just trying to learn about letterpress, and the way to do that still is, actually, and definitely was at the time, buy the equipment and work on it. It's very hard to get access to equipment for an indefinite period, and give yourself enough time to actually learn how to print. So I had this poem, If You Want Me, and I started reading it, and what am I going to say here at the bottom? Something like, this was movingly printed at 419 Maple Street by Felicia Rice, January 1977, and then I said, no, what is it going to be? And I finally came up with Moving Parts Press, that the press would be called Moving Parts Press. I would take the bold step of calling myself something, and I would call it that because the poem had moving parts. The presses have moving parts, and everything has moving parts to it, and it's the Moving Parts Press.